Hi everyone, this is Nancy Marcy. I'm a certified Iyengar yoga teacher, and as a lot of you may know, one of the hallmarks of Iyengar yoga is that we use a lot of props in our teaching and our practice of yoga, no matter how experienced we are, because it really helps us to expand, extend, to have proper alignment. It can make things not only easier but harder, and it allows us to stay in the poses longer than we otherwise might not do. It allows us to build strength, to have proper actions in the pose. This short video is just going to go through the basic props that you need for a home practice with some possible alternatives that you may be able to find at home in case you don't have the classic props. First, I'll show you what I think is the ideal. I'm going to move this a little bit closer here. Basic setup. Not the ideal, but the basic. The ideal has plenty more. You need a mat, and it should be a mat that is not slippery at all. Very sticky, so that when you push your hands in downward dog, your hands aren't going to go anywhere. So for example, this here, it's pretty good, it's pretty sticky, but if I really push, it's going to go. And so I can't give full force to my Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Whereas this mat here is super sticky, super duper sticky. It's not gonna go at all. I like this mat better. Your mat can be squishy or thin. I happen to like a thinner mat. So number one is a mat. What if you don't have a mat? You can still do yoga without a mat. Here I am on my floor. It's a bamboo floor. It doesn't stick or it doesn't slide. So I can do Trikonasana here and push my feet apart and I'm not going to slide. I can do downward facing dog if I'm a little bit sweaty. Well, I'm not sweaty enough, so I would need a sticky mat. So number one, mat. Number two, something to sit on. At least 2 blankets. So these blankets I have here are what they call Mexican blankets. They're cotton. You don't have to have a cotton blanket, but I would say cotton is really good because you can wash it. It absorbs sweat and it's firm. It's firm. Ideally, you would have 4 blankets to use, 4. And ideally, they'd all be the same dimensions so it's easier to set up your props, but you don't have to. So a mat, at least 2 to 4 blankets, some kind of a strap or belt. Again, ideally, this is a 6-foot long belt. You could get 6, 8, 12 feet belts. I'd say if you're a smaller person, 6 is fine. If you're tall or larger, 8 might be better. Ideally, your belt will have a buckle in it so that you can easily make a loop. This is a certain one, a slide formation here, something like that. This is an Indian one from Pune. It's washable, it's adjustable. You know, this is my favorite one, but another common one is like this, with this kind of a buckle. So this is a little bit wider, but this is just fine too. There's also ones with double D rings, something like this, okay? And then blocks. This is my favorite. These are 4 by 9 inches. Cork blocks because they're heavy, they're dense, and they don't slide even if you're on a hardwood floor. So they may be a little high for some people, but these are the best. I feel overall these are the best. And there are some other types that you can buy. Some people really like foam because they're lightweight. You could drop them on your foot, wouldn't hurt. But the problem with foam blocks is they're not as stable. So if I were going to do something like this, there's a little bit of wobbliness that comes here. Or if I'm going to do something like here, it's really wobbly. Whereas this one, it's solid. It's not going anywhere. And if I need to take support for something like this, half moon pose, it's stable. It's not going to go. So I'd say, you know, you might want to get both. But this is good. Classically, wood. Wood is the first one that was done. This is a good one too. This is a kind of a lightweight wood. This is a travel set. It's smaller, still works. It's great, gives really good support underneath the bones, but it'll slide on hardwood floor, so you have to use it here. Again, this is my favorite. Cork blocks. Okay, and now I'm going to go into some alternatives. Oh, I forgot. The wall. You need to have a wall space at least as wide as your mat, but preferably as long as your mat too, because the wall is a super important prop for getting proper alignment and support. So find a space in your home where you can have a wall at least as wide as your mat. If you don't have a wall, an open wall, think of where do you have a space such as a door. A door can work too. So you can see I've got a door here and a door here. That can be your wall because you don't typically hang anything on it or have anything, piece of furniture in front of it. You also could use a half wall or outside. You've got a deck, a railing, that can serve as a wall. Or a couch, the back of a couch can serve as a wall, or a counter in your kitchen. But something against which to support yourself and to align yourself so you know that you're extending and expanding correctly. And then finally, a chair. The chair is an important prop for Iyengar yoga. It's not just for people that are weak or you know, are recuperating from injury, although it's great for that too. And this is what we call a yoga chair. All it is a folding chair with the back knocked out. So it took me about 15 minutes to knock the back out of this. You just pry it out, you break the welds, you just file it down, it's ready to go. Ideally, there is also not a rung in the front. Well, that's more rare to find, but you can find chairs like this. This is great. I'm not going to go into all the ways to use the chair today, but if you have a folding chair, it's a good one. Why do you take this chair, this back out? Because this can impede you from sitting into the chair this way. So there's things that we do going into the chair this way, where if you're thick at all here, you're not going to have room to get through. But for most things, just a regular folding chair works very well for lots of supports. Okay, so mat, blankets, blocks, belt, and chair. Those are the main things. Now let me go through some alternatives for you. If you don't have a chair like that, a straight back chair will do. A straight back chair will do. And best to not have one with arms because that can get in the way. This way you can use the side, the front there, the back can be used. You use the chair many different ways. I'm not going to go into it, but have yourself a chair. If you don't have blocks and you don't want to go buy any, find something that's the same dimension as a block. So this is like a photograph box that I just found. It was on the bookshelf. And this can work really well as a block because it's hard. It's about the right dimension. It'll give me support. Here's something else. This is a can of coffee. It's about the right height. What you need here is something between 6 and 9 inches, maybe even higher, especially if you're tighter in the leg department. You need something higher. Step stool. It's very, very good prop to have for many things. But look what a nice thing this is. to support me for a prop. The chair can also be used. The seat of the chair, like this, the legs of the chair, the rungs of the chair, here. So you can see how anything that's that height and is not going to move and can support your weight, you can use in the place of a block in many cases. If you don't have a belt, check your closet. Here's a nice belt, super good because it's got a buckle that can be used to make a loop that will tighten on itself. So I could do, I guess he doesn't want to tighten, this way here. Yeah, I could pull like that, something like that. A scarf can be used. So here I am with my scarf doing boat pose Navasana. Bathrobe sash. It's a little stretchy, so it's not quite as great as the firm ones. Tie, same thing, wrap around, pull. And then this is a rope. This is a decommissioned climbing rope. I used to teach in the high schools. I got this piece. This is really nice. But any kind of a thick rope, like a marine type rope, you could use. You could make a loop out of it, and you can use it for a belt. So you can use it without a loop, or you can just tie it in a knot, and then use it for many things, which will come in some later videos. But what if you don't have blankets? Towels. Use towels. Wonderful. Here's 5 towels. What I like about them is they're washable. You've got lots of towels in your house, most of us do, and they'll firm when you sit on them. So you sit on this height, you have enough height that you can lift up through here, as opposed to this here. You can see there's not as much height in my spine. I have to work harder to sit up tall. Here. Here. The brick can also be used in place of blankets. Sit on top, put your sit bones there, nice and tall. It's sharper underneath. It gives a different kind of emotional feel and a different effect on your brain. It's more stimulating, but you know, it works. Look at your bed. Do you have cotton blankets? These are those kind of woven cotton blankets. You might have some already. They're firm when they're folded. Good woolen blankets. Woolen blankets too, especially that boiled wool. You have 1 or 2 of those. You can put them together with cotton. You got a good setup there. Bolsters is another thing that's often used in yoga class, and you can do that by rolling a blanket. So I have bolsters here, but I'll just say that I'm not even going to bring them out because why? You know what a bolster is about. But take a blanket, like here's my woolen blanket. I'm going to roll it, put the seam side down, and now, you know, I've got a bolster that can work for support, like this. So I've got a nice lift for my Supta Baddha Konasana. I'll take this or take a pillow, and there I am. Oh, I need something under my legs here. What should I take? I'll take a couple of towels and put them underneath my thighs so that I have support. And can relax. And let's say that I need something over my eyes, and I don't happen to have an eye sack. What shall I use? I use a sock. I'll use my shirt that I took off that I had on earlier, but now I'm hot. Or I'll use a strap or a belt. and I'm good to go. That's it. See you next time for more on using props.